Hi everyone, Lydia here with Build Show Network, and now we're on to method 2 for patching. So this one again is a little more complicated. You're going to need some materials. You're going to need to go to the store and get a couple things. So these are pretty cool. These are called drywall clips, and they're a lot like the wood, but they're different in that they're smaller. You can buy a pack of these. This one came in a pack of 6. A couple different manufacturers make them, but what they do is essentially it's a lot like the same thing. So you're going to put your clip in here. It's going to give you backing, and then you're going to put your screw in there, which then holds the clip, which is then adding and bracing the backing for you. So I have 2 in here so you can kind of get a look. They also have these little tabs here. So the tabs stick out like that. And then after you have it installed, you just go ahead and break the tabs off. That's it. That just breaks right off. They're meant to break off. Don't leave the tabs on there because you don't want those sticking out. But this patch is nice again because it's going to be a little recessed because you have that backing there. And something I forgot to mention too is use the correct sheetrock depth. This is all 1/2 inch, so we're going to be patching with 1/2 inch. If I was to come and patch with 5/8 here, it's going to be proud. It's just going to stick out way farther. You're never going to get that patch to hide. And another thing that's important too is it's a lot easier to square up the patches when you're patching than to do some kind of funky shape. Like there's just going to be circles for cans, and you can get like the cutters to do circle cutters. But for the most part, your patches are going to be square like this. So you can just kind of measure out your patch. You can use a T-square. You can use pencils, levels, whatever you want to use. But square is going to be the easiest to patch. So this one is going to be the same process here. As you can see, we have everything kind of cut and beat out, and then we're going to mesh and hot mud, and then we're going to show how to do this one. So same thing again. We're just going to go ahead and take our mesh. We're going to go across the patch. This one again is going to be a little, for like little bigger things. And you can definitely use these for something small, but this is going to be a sturdy patch again, like that one is. So really nice for big patches that you have. Big spots. Again, you can use mesh tape, 5 fuse, paper tape, whatever you choose. And this green mesh isn't special. Like there's nothing special about this. It's just mold resistant, but it's the same thing as like regular mesh tape. We're going to have that all nice and down. Again, it's going to be a little bit recessed, which is what we're looking for because we don't want anything proud and we don't want anything up and further out from there. Again, with the clips, I feel like I didn't explain that very well. You just put the clip back there, screw into the back of it, and the little tabs stick out over. And then you just go ahead and screw your sheetrock right in there. Something too that's important about these clips is they're not going to rust, being that they're metal. I could see people being like, oh, it's going to be rusting. These won't rust. They're stainless steel. Let's say on the container, even like they won't rust through. So these are safe to use in high moisture areas or anything where you're a little worried about rust. And you can see the little clips are like way back in the back there. So we're going to go ahead. And see, it does it every time. Oop. Throwing mud. So when we kind of look at these two compared, you know, this one has wood, this one has metal. They both work out really well. It really just depends on what you have access to. Some things that you are going to need to do these patches are going to be, at the bare minimum, you're going to need a screwdriver of some sort, whether it's power or manual. You're going to need a razor blade, you're going to need a jab saw, and you're going to need drywall screws. These ones come with their own special screws. They're a little like short and they're kind of nicely threaded, so they're really good for the patches. This guy, you know, we just use straight up regular drywall screws. So when you're looking at choosing something, there's definitely options. You know, if you're on a construction site, this one might be a little bit more common. If you are a homeowner and you have a really big patch, it might be really nice for you to just go grab these clips instead of having to do cutting wood, all that stuff that you have to go through, because these just come in a big pack and then you can just throw them up. So we have that ready. We're going to go ahead and let it sit, and then we're going to go ahead and coat it just like we did the other patch. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this one coated again. So the nice thing about both of these methods, the one from the earlier video with the wood backing and then this one with the clips, is they're really going to be really sturdy. We're going to be showing some patches later that are not quite as intense, but they're not as strong as these. And I'm going to go ahead and just try and fill everything in there. And something to remember too, when you're working with patches, it's not always going to be one way. Sometimes you got to pull this way, sometimes you got to pull this way, sometimes you got to pull up. Sometimes it's kind of multiple patches from different angles and different ways. So you just kind of get everything looking good. And it's a multi-step process. I think people, you know, people will come in and give you a bid for patches and you're like, but why is that so much? Or why are you back at my house 5 or 6 times? Well, because sometimes it takes 5 or 6 times to get the patch right. So these methods, I mean, I could do, let's say I'm doing, you know, with the clips. I can come in, I can get it hot mudded, I can get it meshed. If I'm using 5-minute, I can go pretty fast. But when I'm getting into the final coats and then also working over a painted surface, it can take a lot longer. Sometimes you just don't know how the mud's going to react. So when we start coating this with the +3, what can happen is the mud can bubble. So we'll start coating over this, and then the mud has no place to go. All that moisture and all that air that's in there can't soak into the raw sheetrock. So then you start having issues with bubbling and pinholing and all sorts of stuff happening. So patches aren't one size fits all, unfortunately. And as you can see, we have a lot set up here. There's a lot of different methods. So sometimes, you know, it takes a lot to get things right and get things flat. So if you are looking at bidding patches or you're getting bids for patches and you're like, what? That's probably why, because it's just so, you have no idea. And another way that we will bid patches too is sometimes we'll just do time and material. So we'll give you an hourly rate and then we'll just go ahead and cover our materials. So that way, if we're coming back and forth to your house a bunch of different times, or the patch isn't feathering in quite right, or, you know, there's a lot of patches, then something like T&M makes a lot of sense. And I mean, sometimes you get into houses that have, you know, 15, 20 patches. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways to bid it, but T&M kind of always saves your butt when you're looking at doing this sort of stuff. We're back to our metal clip patch. So same thing again, we just went ahead and let everything dry. I'm just gonna go ahead with my knife over it, open it up, and then start coating. So like I said before, when you're kind of like working with patches, sometimes depending on the patch, depending on the light, depending on a bunch of different factors, you might have to work it multiple ways, especially if it's not feeling like you want it to, or it's not looking quite right. And that's totally okay and normal. Our goal here is to make the patch disappear as much as we can and to get everything to look like it never happened, which can be tricky because most of the time you are going to be building up on a surface that's already finished. but we're gonna try and hide it as much as we can. So I'm using +3. My knife is pretty flat, actually very flat. And the reason it's flat is I don't want to be building up a lot of mud. Like, I want pressure on my knife and I want to be having it flat. If I have it flat, it's not taking a ton off. It looks good, but it's also going to be feathering into those other areas. So if I have it flat, I'm not leaving too much. I'm able to pull off cleanly. And I'm not leaving like giant humps on the wall. Essentially, that's kind of your goal here, is to not leave giant humps in the wall. So flatter I am, the better. And, you know, sometimes you have to leave little lap marks or just some things that you can come and take care of later when you're sanding. So this will get sanded with a sanding sponge or a Festool or whatever it is that you feel like choosing to use. But it's okay to leave like really minor lines because you can always just come and sand it back out. This one is really not bubbling very much. And that's kind of the nice thing too about doing these guys for bigger patches is you're not covering a lot of painted surface. Most of what you're working with is raw drywall because the bulk of that patch is new, fresh drywall, which then means we have less bubbling, less issues. The mud has some place for the moisture to go instead of out the front. So these ones really are really good for large scale patches, super strong. Like, I would have no problem hitting this wall later. I'm not going to hit it right now because it's all wet. But you know, this could take a good solid hit because it has all that backing there. So that's it pretty much for the metal patches. They're pretty cool. They work out really, really well. You know, great option instead of cutting down some 2x4s if you don't have access to those things. These are another great option for doing large scale patches without having to pull a bazillion tools out. So that's it for me this week. I hope you guys are doing great. I will catch you next week for another patch product. And make sure you follow me on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Have a great day, guys.